So Assassination Classroom is an anime that's been recommended to me off and on for the last 3 years. I'm currently in an anime binge and it's only 2 seasons, so I decided to knock it out real quick. And this show has wildly exceeded my expectations. The show is about a bunch of middle school Narutos tasked with killing their teacher. Hold on, wait a second. Kuroko's Basketball, Assassination Classroom, Tokyo Revengers. Look, I peaked in middle school too, but what the fuck are these kids on? Anyways, if you haven't seen the show, you're probably wondering why a bunch of 12-year-old Narutos want to kill their teacher. Well, why it takes 2 seasons. Well, this isn't your average Mr. Harrison, right? Their teacher is a 10-foot tall bioengineer octopus, and I don't know if this is a play on tentacle porn. Nonetheless, this behemoth blew up 3/4 of the moon and threatens to destroy Earth after he fulfills his last obligation, teaching E-class. So they have 1 school year to kill Korosensei or witness the execution of mankind. This is a super unique approach to the whole hero-villain dynamic, as your stereotypical villain is like Naraku from Inuyasha, right? A dark, mysterious villain who pops out long enough to remind you that he's the main antagonist, then he hides for 13 more episodes. Korosensei as well. He's in your face the whole season. He's simultaneously the main protagonist and antagonist. He also gives some good life lessons, some advice. He has some quirks that make him an extremely likable character. Anyways, on this channel, I do season reviews a little different. Instead of discussing the whole entire season, I pick 1 or 2 episodes that best reflect my opinion on the show and review them individually, into one video. And today we're going to look at episodes 19 and 20. With that, there will of course be some spoilers, but these episodes are just rising action. It's not the climax of the season. So I'm going to take an ad break. Hopefully you decide if you want to stay or bug out by the time I come back. Let's get it.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning.
So the episode begins after an assassination attempt by the students, and given the show has 3 more episodes and a whole nother season, the outcome should be rather obvious. But then, them sulking over the failure is just a subplot, as a majority of the students fall sick as they have been poisoned. Someone has the cure to the illness, but he's holding it ransom. He wants Korosensei in exchange. The surviving students ain't going, so they raid the hotel with Kurasuma. Fast forward, Glamour Girl seduces the first round of guards and distracts them. Not really important, it just shows her worth, it plays to her character, but she's not really interesting to me until the 2nd season. Nonetheless, only thing better than being pretty is being pretty and talented. Anyways, Terasaka and a buddy get horny and run off, but Kurasuma saves them from getting bodied, but he ends up getting poisoned in the process. So now this operation is up to the kids. W writing, as Kurasuma is pretty much the strongest pure human in the show.
And the body dies. Observe!
Nonetheless, even at a 4th strength, he still insta-bodies the antagonist. But the boss battle was irrelevant. This was here to show the kids need to operate pretty much independently.
Kale, but why does it feel like summer vacation all of a sudden?
Because my students are acting independently of me.
After that, they introduced probably the most disturbing antagonist I've seen since I watched that Devil Crybaby anime that's on Netflix. But from here on out, we will never mention that show again. Ugh. Fast forward, we get to the sequence, the sequence that made me choose these episodes. They encounter another assassin with insane hand strength. He's also a cross-dresser, and honestly, I didn't notice this until later. Anyways, James Charles is about to start snitching in.
Speaking of letdowns,
Seemed fairly average for a pro, if you ask me.
Marble Sensei decides to trust Karma with the fight, and he points out some character development. Nonetheless, Karma is going full Bruce Lee, and they also point out that Karma has been practicing some mimicry.
Those are your defensive moves, are they not, Mr. Kurasama?
There's no denying it, though. These moves are how I handled their attacks in class.
So the real fight begins, and he says,
I like the cut of your jib. See, this is what I've been talking about. 2 equals mano a mano.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a top tier assassin and you consider yourself equals with an 8th grader? Hey, couldn't be me. Anyways, Charles hits Karma with a sneak attack, but Karma says you can't finesse a finesser and hits the biggest Uno reverse of all time. Now, at first I would have seen this as plot armor, but the fact that Marble Sensei didn't get agitated or flustered shows that Karma was okay the whole time. Anyways, Marble Sensei points out some more character development, but this episode helped me gain a lot of love for the show, because this show doesn't really have a main character. Well, Nagisa and Korosensei are the main characters, but this show takes the time to really explore the other characters, you know? In most shows, the main protagonist has to be a part of everything in some way, shape, or form, and I mean, you can kind of make the argument here as Marble Sensei is literally a part of the group, but the fact that the show let Karma fight this battle without needing help from
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Nagisa or Marble Sensei really reinforced how great this show is. And the reason this is such a big deal for me is because when you do something like this, it really opens up a lot of possibilities. To me, it showed you're not afraid to have others shine, which, given the premise of the show, killing Korosensei, is really important, making the viewer, or at least in my case me, feel like any one of these kids can land the final strike against Korosensei, because you don't need Kuroko to be a part of it. You don't need, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, later in the episode, there's some comedic relief, followed by this badass move.
Excuse me, Mr. Yakuza?
Yeah!
This series of episodes really flexes the progress of the students, and everyone more or less gets a piece of it at some point or time during the subplot. It really is hard to do this show justice, as it does so many little things right, and it continues to just build on each other, kind of stacking and stacking. Like, after Terasuka tackles and tases some thugs, this happens.
Those cost a fortune. How'd you afford equipment like this?
I came into some money. Odd jobs mostly, nothing special.
Really cool. I saw that attempt as just, a random assassination attempt, but to see it, just another fight scene, but to see it actually tie into a future episode, it's just fantastic. It's just an example of like the little things stacking on top of each other. But anyways, Marble Sensei says something that really threw me for a loop.
It's kinda out of left field, sir. That said, I'll allow no killing. That I won't.
This is really confusing because Marble Sensei plans to destroy Earth, so why is he against killing? It seems hypocritical. Add in the fact that this dude literally poisoned your students that you swore to protect, and they almost fatally poisoned not only Kakashi.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
They not only almost fatally poisoned not only I almost said it again, Kurasima, but 3 other students, or, half the class, which I'm not going to do math right now. Anyways, so at this point, it's kill or be killed. Also, you're training them to be assassins, where your job is to kill. Anyways, this had me in my favorite mindset when it comes to watching shows. Lost in theories. I consider myself a good guesser, and I'm normally right when it comes to most things. If not, I'm always in the ballpark. But watching this show, I was honestly lost sometimes. If you're gonna eliminate all of humanity, why do you care about a group of kids so much? Why don't you want them to kill others if you're gonna kill other people anyways? Just a series of questions arise during this show, and it led me to believe that whoever got him to teach the class wanted him to do that so he would see the good in humanity or fall in love with the kids to the point where he doesn't want to destroy Earth anymore. at this point, the signs were pointing to me like this was going to have a family reunion Disney movie type ending where everyone's happy, you know, and lives forever on and whatnot. But as of right now, the last few episodes have nothing to do with the main plot line. Nonetheless, all the questions I had during the first season were all answered in season 2, which this show really delivered on, you know, they really delivered in season 2. Speaking on delivering, I'm going to give my opinion on the show after this. Assassination Classroom is a beautiful show. It's definitely top 5 all time. Has the best ending of any anime I've finished so far. It's up there with Code Geass and Death Note. I won't spoil it, but this ending is as satisfying as the ending to Code Geass is mysterious. Starting with the characters, you know, Korosensei is definitely the best antagonist of all time, at least of any show I've watched thus far. L makes a great argument, but besides him being an antagonist by definition, I never really saw him that way. And you can make the same argument for Korosensei. He's kind of not really an antagonist at all, although he is, you know what I'm saying, he's supposed to be. But anyways, he's a phenomenal character and he's extremely well written. If it weren't for his teaching moments, he would come out as kind of overconfident, kind of cocky, a show off, and he's also extremely witty and well versed. But he's able to be vicarious, which is a personality trait I cannot recommend enough, while also being well-rounded and hard to predict. Season 2 really does him justice, and if you watch the show, or you know, I really encourage you to watch all of it. As for my favorite character, that has to go to Karma Akabane. He is a great representation of how good the show is. Karma is pretty much a gifted, arrogant bully. He's actually not too different from the real antagonist of the show, but instead of making him do a complete 180 like Zuko, for example, they added to his character. He became more cooperative. He started to embrace being taught. At no point does the show tell these kids that, you know, they're bad, they need to change. At no point do they, like, they'll point out their flaws, but it won't tell them that you're bad because you're flaws, you're a reject because you're flaws, this is unfair, you know what I'm saying? They never tell Karma to stop fighting people, you know, hey, don't fight people, that's bad, stop being sadistic. Nagisa, grow some nuts. You have to watch it to really get it, but this show does a good job of having a variety of characters and them being themselves instead of having them mold into one identity. Anyways, this show is definitely top 5. I've become a very stoic person, and I'm still in the process of developing that even more. But even with me being stoic, I really was hit in the heart by the end of the show. Season 2 is where Marvel Sensei earns the name I give him in the original title. I might change it a couple times, hoping to get a little bit more views. But I strongly recommend this show to all anime enthusiasts and to all just interested in watching an animated show, whether you're into cartoons or anime or anything in between. If you want me to review season 2, your viewership is already enough, but these videos are slow burners, so I don't expect anybody to really watch it until I forgot about making this. So yeah, definitely do the stereotypical YouTube things you already know. Yeah, let me know who's your favorite character. Let me know how you felt about the show. Did you cry when you saw the ending? Have you even seen the ending? I mean, I didn't cry, but I was close. I was hit. I was like, what? Anyways, that's gonna do it for this one. Until we meet in the comments, envy no man, because we know we up next. Sponsored by Atari, and
join will be hopping. The octopus said the same thing to Yoshi. It's about being patient, picking your moment. So snap out of it. You can't let a couple of losses blow you off course. You don't have to win now, just someday. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Well, it kills the octopus.